Welcome to the Farmers Podcast. I'm your host, Alfredo, and today is July 17, 2026. It's Friday. I decided to do an episode today. We've been busy, but there's a lot of things that happened already since the last episode. I think I did 2 months ago. We had the UFC. We'll be discussing topics like the UFC fights at the White House, the 250 4th of July celebration in America, deportation, just regular stuff, voter fraud, ICE border, and we'll probably get into the FIFA too, the claim rigged FIFA for Argentina. So let's start off, and like I said, I always want to tell you guys thank you for tuning in. Share the channel. I usually post it on Facebook, share with, whoever you want. Obviously, it's a little bit more for conservative viewers, but, I don't care who watches it. You may or may not agree with my views. This is my channel. You don't like it, you can make your own. Call it whatever you want. Obviously, sometimes it's more political than farming, but we'll get by. So let's jump right in. Border and ICE patrol. It's been getting crazy. Just like I had predicted a few episodes ago. Border's just gonna do their thing. Border patrol. People are gonna get deported. I said it before. I know it comes as a shocker when they're coming to all these blue city and blue states and they're doing their job. I know from the majority of conservative people that voted for Trump and Republicans, this is what we expected. For Democrats, they're losing their minds, is the end of the world. Well, you guys can thank the Biden-Harris administration. They let in over 11 million people, and we're still dealing with the consequences from all that mass migration. So, take it however you want. It's going to continue to happen while there's Republicans in office. So make peace with it. If you don't agree with it, get with your local representatives. Tell them to get with Congress. Tell them to get with the president. Come up with a resolution. But full amnesty, granted citizenship for every illegal migrant that came is not going to happen. The majority of Americans don't want that. And you've seen the outcome from the deportations. Inflation has dropped. The housing market is coming down slowly, but it's coming down. And that's what's going to happen. It's going to continue to happen until 2028, and we'll see what happens then. One thing I am for, and I don't understand the politics on the left behind voter ID, is not racist. I'm a Hispanic male. I have a real ID. I'm from California. It's not hard. You go down DMV, you can do it online. They were able to register 43,000 votes when they needed them to help Karen Bass in LA. Why don't they go out and help the same people get IDs? I mean, that was voter fraud, but hopefully they investigate that pretty soon. Which I obviously, some of you guys saw the, well, not everybody, because I think Fox and a few only networks presented the address to the nation from our president. And yeah, I mean, I wasn't surprised that China and Russia were, creating or hacking our systems to favor the Democrats. That's not surprising. But obviously, if they're doing it, it's okay because they're saving democracy. So for the Democrats, it's fine as long as they're doing it. So I mean, to each their own. Like, I have people I reach out to and we talk, and they're complaining, saying that Trump's corrupt, that Republicans are corrupt. They're doing the same thing Democrats are doing. Why is it only corruption when the Republicans are doing it? I don't know. Ask them. Find out. But anyways, let's move on to the UFC fights at the White House. Personally, I thought they were good. I watched them. I didn't think anything behind it. I don't feel like it was anything political, other than obviously when I can't remember his name right now, from Oildale Shafter, Bakersfield, when he said that Michelle Obama is a man. I've been saying that shit for like years. Motherfucker got wide shoulders, but that ain't my business. Big Mike. But it was a good event. You know, the presentation, it was all patriotic. The fighting was good. The matches were good. There were a lot of homegrown talent fighting. So I didn't have a problem with it. You wouldn't have been able to tell that if it was a Republican or Democrat, other than there was no trans men fighting. So whatever. And you know, they're complaining, saying that some people, I guess, mainly the Clintons and them, saying that it was a disgraceful thing. But I thought it was pretty cool. So whatever. And then obviously 4th of July, the fireworks show, that was insane at the White House. Like that fireworks show was crazy. I enjoyed it. I was sick. I didn't get to go out and celebrate with my family. 4th of July is my favorite holiday. I always tell people it's my favorite holiday because we get to celebrate freedom as a nation. There's no political ties to that. It's just American pride, the only pride we have. But like I said, fortunately, I was ill. I spent the whole weekend on the couch sick, and I got to go out. I didn't get to go out with my family. They went to celebrate, but I got to go and have some dinner and watch some of the illegal fireworks from our ranch. So it was nice. Even though I was dying sick with fever, it was cool. So I'm just disappointed that I didn't get to celebrate. I still have my fireworks. I'm gonna wait for New Year's to light them up and celebrate for this country, for our freedom. I don't know if I always say it, but I'm a big supporter of our troops, and I always say, God bless America, God bless our troops. And it's a hard situation, I believe, for anybody in service right now, because obviously percentage of the country, I'm not going to say it's half of the nation, is against the war, right? And the majority, which I would say is the majority of people, agree that this is something that had to happen. Democrats will tell you the other side, but Iran has been a big sponsor of terrorists globally. They funded everything that has to do with terrorism against, and I was watching this report, and they said 30 months before the current administration took over, there had been about over 302 attacks on American bases or diplomats throughout the world. So when people are saying that it was unprovoked, Iran's been provoking the United States for a long time. There was just no reaction because obviously we didn't have strong men with the courage to finally say this is enough, and it is enough. Do I care enough? I care about the future of our children, and I care that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. I'm not a pro-war person, but I do believe the United States is going to be the superpower of the world, and obviously everybody expects the United States to police the world, but they don't want us to take action as a country either and show force. So I don't know how we could do that without taking action. So, but it is what it is. A big topic that I've been sharing on my own personal social media is, a lot of people think I'm Islamophobic and stuff like that. I'm not. Our country here was founded under Christian beliefs. We're a Christian nation. I know Obama came out, and Obama, I was, what we said, has been one of the worst presidents for our country. Divided our country, made our country more racist, created more division between our fellow Americans than anybody else has. You guys can say it's Donald Trump, this, and white supremacy. Obama's the one that started that. He legalized propaganda, but his biggest threat to our country, where he started trying to dismantle our unity, is when he came in and tried to impose not just LGBT onto the public, because he prided himself in saying that he was the first president that openly supports gay marriage. Yeah, I wonder why. But he allowed, or he's the one that begun the importing of Muslims into our Christian nation, and wondering why we have conflict. Obviously, and I'm not bashing on Muslims, but they have Sharia law. So their religion is their law. It's not compatible with the Christian nation. Our founding fathers created this nation with a belief under God. It was meant for Americans that were Bible-believing Americans. So it's not compatible with anybody that doesn't believe in God. Not other gods, not Allah, not Jehovah, not whatever the Mormons believe, Jesus Christ. So that's why we're having all these issues as far as religion war in our own country. They'll say, oh, you have freedom of religion. Yeah, it's freedom of religion, but built on the fact that it's a Christian nation. And now they're labeling people that want to stand up and be proud of being Christians as Christian nationalists. So I guess, we were already fascist and racist. Christian nationalists, I guess, will be the third one. So it don't matter to me. I'm proud to be a Christian. The only religion, the true religion. So it's getting to the point where there's gonna be a clash. Whether you want to pretend that it's not, it's coming. The wave's coming. Yeah, I know most of you guys don't like watching other than CNN, probably, but there's other sources. There's other news, not just Fox. Look at what's happening across the world in Germany, in the UK. They're fighting back. They want all. And the majority of the illegal immigrants are Muslims, unfortunately. They want them out of their countries. And you're going to see that come here too. Because this whole theology and nonsense that white men are white supremacists, it's going to wear out. The majority of Caucasian males, white males, have this fear of they have to be quiet, because if not, they're labeled racist. Like, Nah, man. If you want to stand your ground and stand for this is your country. You guys built this country. Anybody else that comes here needs to assimilate to American culture. Don't be afraid. Be proud, man. You guys built a hell of a country. Everybody wants to be here. You never see Americans leaving America for other countries. You see other migrants, illegal or legal migrants, they want to come here. So don't let people shame you guys into thinking that just because you guys are proud of where your roots are. You know, bad stuff happened in the country, sure. Slavery, Native Americans, all that stuff, but it's shaped the country to what it is now. Now we have these foreigners in our politics that are coming in and saying that our country's racist, our country's is a bad country, and we've done all these bad things. Yet they're elevated in status in our country, where in their country, because I'm talking about the majority of those women in Congress, they will have no status. They won't even be able to speak unless allowed by their husbands. So, and you know which women I'm talking about. So, man, just know that there will be change. It's coming. So just be patient, little by little. It's hard. You know, the left have a real deep state in their government. It's being dismantled little by little. They're losing power. And, you know, I get called out a lot by Hispanics because they say that I don't care about my race or that I'm a sellout. Well, I'm American. I would never sell out. I love America. I like any American. If you're an American, you're a patriot, and you love this country, you're good with me. I don't care what you look like. But just, I don't pick color. Just because I'm brown doesn't mean I'm going to support all the Hispanic and Mexicans. Because my family's from Mexico. Now, it's God, country, and family. And if that doesn't fit with you, well, you're free to leave. If you want to support that country, go, man. Do you think you can make that country better? Think you can make it better than here? Go, man. Nobody holding you. Nobody cares if you leave. And just, simple things like that. A lot of people, I already touched on the ICE and Border Patrol. There's a lot of pressure on those guys. There's cameras everywhere. The guys are trying to do their job. Obviously, the protesters, which are rioters. Sorry, my phone's going off. They make their job dangerous and harder to do, and that's very unfortunate. I know for they were talking about. I posted a thing on my social media, and they were talking about 4 American citizens killed since ICE started. I think 2003 was when they created the Border Patrol ICE program. Or since then, four American citizens, unfortunately, casualties, died. Very unfortunate. It wasn't right. I'm not justifying anything. I don't know every case. I know some of them. Obviously, the pretty good, whatever the lady was, Renee Good, or Pretty, and the other guy Pretty. I kind of looked into that a little bit, but didn't. But that's pennies compared to American citizens' death by migrants in the same amount of years. It was like 20,000 plus. So obviously, and I'm not saying all migrants, but I do always say, and this is something that obviously catches people by surprise, is you have to be fair. Obviously, I'm Mexican by heritage. I'm American. So when I kind of look at people, because they're like, oh yeah, they need to get rid of this, but leave Mexicans because we're hardworking. And I'm always like, nah, man, if they're gonna deport, it's gotta be fair. He's all, and I've had, people I know, I'm related to, say, no, we'll only get the ones that are doing crime. Leave the other ones be alone. I said, man, if you get swept up in and you're here illegally, like, no, man, there's gotta be blind justice. It's just gotta go straight across. And if you don't agree with that, then obviously you don't care about the justice system. You don't care about law. You want favoritism, and you can't do that. Because obviously you're going to prefer your race. Well, anybody else is going to prefer their race too. So how are you going to be like, oh no, we're going to really pick through, fine comb everything? No, they got to go, man. They're here illegally. Being here illegally is a crime. So, very unfortunate. They gave an opportunity under Kristi Noem to leave, apply, and try to come back. I've talked about this with many people. If Democrats were really serious about helping the migrants and illegal migrants here, they would get with Congress and come up with a bill, and it could be as simple as allowing them to have a work visa, come work for a year or 6 months, go back, do that a few years, don't commit crimes, pay your penalties, be a taxpayer, and apply to become a resident, and then maybe a citizen. They could easily do that if they really wanted to. So that's why I tell all the Democrats, the vote Democrat voting base that are Hispanic, they don't care, bro. They had Obama for 8 years, and they had Joe Biden. They could have passed any of those things. They didn't. They do not care. All they care is, how are we going to get votes, and how do we make the Republicans look like they're the bad guys? They had 12 years to pass something. They didn't. So don't come at me with these excuses that, well, Trump's deporting. Yeah, he is gonna. He said he ran, and he told us, I'm gonna do mass deportation because they allowed 11 million people plus in. People voted for that. Half the country voted for that. So it's not racist. It's what people voted for, and close the border. So it is what it is. When you guys are in power and are back in power, hopefully not for a long, long time. Maybe you guys will come up with a bill and a policy to help, and I'm hopefully, like I said, the Republicans will pitch in as long as it's legit. You know what I mean? That you're putting stipulations and requiring them to fulfill their commitment of working and going back home for a few years and coming back. Or you can just make them wait and apply. Maybe speed up the process, but it's going to be so jam-packed with people applying that it's going to take forever. You might as well figure out something where you can get the benefit of having the labor and they can earn income. So think about that. You know what I mean? Talk to your local representatives. That's what I always tell people all the time. Your vote, it's a bigger impact, especially like for us here in California. The chances of us reaching a Republican vote big enough to overtake California is very difficult. So who we put into our local representation makes the biggest impact for us that are conservative, and Democrats too, obviously, but they don't care. They believe in sanctuary cities and everybody's gay, but that's their business. They're still going on that hill. They're gonna die on that hill. That people need to be transgender and all this. Nobody gives a fuck about that anymore. If people want to be transgender and be weird, that's their thing. But don't impose that on the kids. We don't want that in the schools. You're a consenting adult. Go ahead. You want to be fucking weird? Go be weird. And obviously, that's your choice. But on that subject, it is what it is. It's a touchy subject for a lot of people, and people, what I've realized too is people will not say how they're scared to express their opinion because they feel that people are gonna say that they're racist and stuff like that. Just you don't have to agree with people. You can say, hey, this is how I feel about that. The majority of people think that because what they feel and they think that's a reason. No, you could. I'm sharing. The podcast. Most of the podcast is about my opinion and what I think. You don't have to agree with it, but it's still my opinion. You can label me whatever you want to label me. I don't care. I don't see myself whatever you guys label me as anyways. So, if you're in public and somebody's saying something and they're asking you, don't be afraid. Tell them. You have every right to express how you feel and what you think. They don't like it. They don't like it. So what? Fuck them. But anyways, let's move on. Oh, okay. FIFA. Argentina, obviously. Big favorite to win it. If you're a Messi fan, obviously if you're a Ronaldo fan, that fool sucks. Nah, I'm just kidding. I've been, watching people on the social media, and I've been posting shit too because I like to troll people on there. I'm a Barcelona Messi fan, so I want Messi to win. Since the World Cup came, I said, man, Argentina better win it. This would be the greatest retirement for Messi. This and that. Everybody, now is saying, oh, it's rigged. FIFA has rigged the World Cup to favor Messi and Argentina, and I keep telling them, if you think it's rigged, put all your life savings and bet it on Argentina. I keep telling everybody that keeps saying that. Well, bet all your money. Take out a loan on your house. Go bet it. Go bet. Let's see if you think it's that rigged. And they won't. That's what I'm telling you. It's just they can't admit that he is the GOAT. The greatest of all time. It's Messi. There's no doubt. There's no debate anymore. He did the 2 assists for the goals. Ronaldo did nothing for Portugal. France, what happened to France? Everybody was saying France is going to win it. They have a better squad. They lost to Spain. Now they can't wait. They want Spain to win everything because they just can't accept Messi winning it. It's an ego thing because they know what's going to happen. There's no debate anymore. His performance in this World Cup at the age of 39, it's done. There'll never be another player like Messi in this world. In our lifetime, in the next generation, there's never going to be another Messi. Ronaldo's a good player. He'll be in the top 10, for being a good player playing in Madrid. He did really good. They had a stacked team, and he elevated their game. But he's not a Messi. He's a Ronaldo. Just like, and I won't even compare him to number 9 for Brazil. Number 9 for Brazil and Ronaldinho are my second favorite. So between both of them, but he's in there, but not nowhere near those guys either. Those all guys have World Cups. He does not have a World Cup. If he would have been that good, it doesn't matter. He would have helped this team make it to the finals and win a World Cup. So, whatever. But the debate's over. He is the GOAT. It's hard for you guys to accept it, but this World Cup proved it. And you guys keep saying, oh, the refs favor Messi, this and that. Yeah, you guys have to create illusions and theories and because you just can't accept it. It's denial, brother. Delusional. Man, he might win the Ballon too. So, that would be super cool. I just want him to win the World Cup just so you guys can shut the fuck up. But, man, I watch, even if I don't get to watch it live, I'll go and replay his games and just like I said, man, he's been my favorite player, and just knowing that it's almost an end, he's at that age where obviously he's not gonna be at another World Cup, but man, he's a solid one. So, props to Argentina. They suffered, obviously when they lost that World Cup with Germany, and people weren't very kind to them, and now they're saying, obviously there were some posts saying that Argentina's racist because they don't have any black players on their team, but there has been in previous Argentina national teams in the 70s and the 80s, but prominently they're light skinned, in that region, and they have a lot of German influence too. Obviously the theory that a lot of Germans who fled Germany ended up in Argentina, so obviously they're gonna be a little bit more light skinned, and and they're not doing a lot of what other national teams do, like France. Fucking France is playing with African players. That shouldn't even be the French team. All the motherfuckers should have been on Cameroon or something. Mbappé, all those Dembele. Those guys are not French. So I don't want to hear that bullshit. So, but I thank you guys for tuning in. I always say I'm gonna try to make videos sooner, and obviously most of the time it's like a month or two, but I've been busy, and I apologize every time at the end of the video, but I really hope you guys enjoy the context and reach out to me. I've been saying I'm gonna have a hoster here too. I am working on a list, but I want to make sure I have enough time to prepare it and make it something exciting for you guys, for the people that follow our page and our channel, not our page, our channel. And I like, one thing I wanted to touch on is I'm a big firm believer of buying homegrown produce and beef and meats and stuff like that locally. I don't mean just homegrown like that, but buy local stuff. Buy American. There's nobody else that makes better food, that produces better produce and meat qualities than your local, livestock growers and beef people. There's more. It's more of a pride thing. You know what I mean? When cheap goods, I get it. You can get by. The quality isn't as good. And we used to be real proud as a country that you used to get everything here locally, and we shifted from that. And I felt like that's caused a lot of damage to our identity as a country and for patriotism. So I'm always very adamant. Hey man, if you know somebody that's making pies, making sourdough bread, obviously it's a little bit more expensive. They put more time into it, but there's no crazy amounts of preservatives and stuff and cancer-causing ingredients in it. I'm a big person. Like we're trying to, in our family. I can only control what our family does. So I tell people is control. You can only have control of what you can control at home. We're trying to move away from processed meats, and then that's my goal. Meats, dairy, and anything like that, and then eventually, obviously, I'll get off the sodas, and because the majority of companies, dyes and all that ingredients, chemicals are putting in our food sources is killing us. It's poisoning. It's poison. If you have an opportunity, look into kosher products if you don't want to get off super processed stuff. Like if you kind of, obviously it's a little bit more expensive, but try some of the kosher products. They have less ingredients, less chemicals, a little bit better for you. But just want to tell you guys thank you. It says July. We're in peak season right now. Tomatoes and almonds and stuff are being harvested. Well, not almonds, not harvesting, but tomatoes. So I've been burned out. I'm up at 3:50 every morning. So we'll be producing something pretty soon for you guys, and I'll let you guys know how the harvesting season went. And in the fall we'll have cattle and farming here, but Angus cattle. If you guys are looking for home grass-fed beef, reach out to the page. They follow. I follow them. They follow me. They're local beef producers, and it's grass-fed, 100% grass-fed. And if you are serious about moving away from the processed meats, which it's causing a lot of these diseases in our kids, and colon cancer and all this other stuff in our bodies. It's what we're eating, what we're putting in our bodies. So they're a good source of, that page is a good source of protein. So I just want to tell you guys, like I said, thank you again, and share. I'll be posting it on Facebook, on our channel on YouTube.